Hey, I often say I'm a teacher, not a speaker. And today when I was in class, I saw a young lady get up, ball up her paper, sit it on the table, and go up by my table and pull off another handout. Now, I knew what we were working on, and I saw what happened. In my head, I put together what happened. I put two and two together, and what I realized was that she messed up. She reached a point in the activity that we were working on where she felt, you know what, I'm just gonna start over. I'm just gonna start from scratch. Now, I did stop her and say, hey, because I'm a teacher, not a speaker, right? I said, if you need to do that again, I don't mind, but just, of course, ask for permission. You see, it started off as a color by number activity, and when you finished coloring, it would have revealed that it was a strand of DNA, and then they had to label different parts of the DNA. What obviously happened is that young lady reached a point in that activity where she made just too many mistakes. She was trying to correct what was wrong, and in her mind, it was easy just to ball it up and start over. And I was a student in that moment, a student of life, of course, and I realized that sometimes there are so many benefits to just starting over. We may want to try to correct those colors and make the changes. Gets to the point where there's just so many mistakes that even when you try to correct it, it just takes away. The lesson has been learned. It's time to start from scratch. And that's how it is. Sometimes we reach a point in our life, in our career, in our physical fitness journey, in terms of maybe working on building up relationships and starting a business. And maybe we have to go back to the drawing board. Maybe we need to recreate another blueprint. When we're trying to get past that stumbling block, we have to do something different. We have to change. Now, this is not a new concept, but I've spoken about changes before. And when we talk about changes, there are two different types of changes, two main types of changes. One is a chemical change and one is a physical change. Now, when we have a chemical change, you have something we could be burning, cooking, rusting, or rotting. When a chemical change occurs, you have something completely new being produced. Whereas when we have a physical change, that could be like if we had some liquid water and we could boil it or we could freeze it. At the end of the day, it's still water. We're just changing its shape or its appearance, but it's still water. Sometimes we have to go through that chemical change because if we just change the appearance of something, guess what? We're gonna still end up with the same thing. When we go through that chemical change, something new is always produced. I love to give the example of water, H2O, hydrogen flammable, oxygen flammable. But when I combine two hydrogens and one oxygen, that gives me H2O, liquid water. Something that was once flammable is now pouring water out. We have to go through that real change. Let's say if I put together some flour and I put some sugar and some cream and I put all of these things together in a bowl and I beat that bowl and I stir everything up and I pour it in a pan and put it in the oven. And then I take it out and realize that something's not right. You know what? I was actually baking a cake, but I forgot to put my eggs in. I cannot then say, oh, let me just crack my eggs and put it over the top of the cake. It can't be done. There's already been a change in the original ingredients that started this process. So in that case, you gotta start over. So sometimes when we reach that stumbling block or that hurdle, we gotta start over. We gotta chalk it up. We gotta say, okay, lesson learned. And from that lesson, I'm going to create my next project. I'm going to create the next activity, the next business venture, my next milestone or goal in my fitness journey, my next financial goal, my new relationship. I'm gonna start it fresh, anew, based off of everything that I've learned, everything that I've experienced. Not only do I learn about others or other situations, but I even learn more about myself. So if we truly want to be the best version of ourselves or put ourselves in the best position for our family, our community, our friends, I gotta take a couple steps back, like that young lady. I gotta ball up the paper, I gotta pull out a nice fresh sheet, and from the wisdom, knowledge, and skills that I've developed, I'm gonna create a new blueprint, and what I produce is gonna be exponentially greater than what I originally started. Now remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker, and I want you to have an amazing day.